This is the DNA Pest Control Podcast with your hosts, Daniel and Anthony. All right, you cut off a little too early, but that's fine. Hey, guys, real quick, before we get started, please subscribe to the podcast in any platform you got. We post every week, and please share it to people, a technician or just anyone, really. I mean, we have a lot of Free Talk Fridays that I think are entertaining, and we have a lot of insight on the industry that some people might want to know. So please share it.
Oh, they will.
Great.
They have to.
They better.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Say the first thing that comes to your head.
A banana.
No, not what?
I don't know.
A banana?
A banana, yeah.
No, okay. What insect? Wasp or spider?
Bird.
Go.
Bird.
Wasp or spider? You only
Spider. Spider.
Why spider?
Because arachnophobia is very common, and spiders are like the main thing people hate. Wasps they hate them too, but I think a spider, because spiders will bite you when you're sleeping. You know?
That's true. Wasps
Yeah.
go to bed, so
They do go to bed.
yeah, they don't have to worry about it.
What's today's subject, Daniel?
Okay, everyone, this is a very sensitive subject.
It
to
is.
some, actually more to clients, but it is how to kindly educate your clients. This is actually something I think a lot of technicians are missing in the industry. I don't think they have it down. I don't think they know how to do it, and they need a lot of help with it.
I agree, actually, a lot. It's like I think it's more of the gray area in the industry, because it's mainly, I wouldn't say like being a jerk or anything like that, but clients pay you to get rid of their issue. And if you have to ask them for cooperation, then a lot of times they might even think, well, what am I paying you for?
Oh, absolutely. Well, the other thing is this whole industry is it's based off of education and continual education.
Yeah.
And so if we're not using that to tell our clients, I mean, what's the point of even going through it?
Yeah. Well, I think the main thing when you're going to educate a client, just know that the first thing about it is you have to, right? Because if you don't, you're just going to let issues build up.
Well, I like to tell guys too, because I know a lot of technicians in the industry are scared to tell clients what to do, how to do things. But I like to always bring it up. It's like a doctor. You don't go into the doctor's office saying, "Doc, I need this, this, and this." Now, some people do, and most of those people are drug addicts.
Oh, okay.
At least that I've noticed.
Yeah.
All the ones that they self-diagnose and they're like, "Yeah, I need this subscription and I need that."
Yeah.
And it's just because they love drugs.
Yeah.
But you don't go into a doctor's office and tell them what they need to do for your symptoms or whatever.
Right.
You go in and you're asking their professional opinion because they went to school for it. And so that's the same thing that we have to realize is we've learned the insects. We know how to treat, what to treat. They don't know anything. They don't know the insects. They have no idea what's going on. So we have to tell them. We have to let them know, hey, this is what that insect is. This is how we're going to treat it. That's it. There's nothing else. You don't get to tell me what to do.
Yeah, well, I guess you could kind of relate it to being like a doctor or whatever, because you are the professional. You've studied it. You know what to do. You have the solution for the issue.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, will the client cooperate? And because sometimes you could get rid of ants and the client didn't do anything, right? Or you could magically get rid of an issue because you know what to do, and now they picture you as, wow, this is the bug guy. But hey, I have ants next month. What's going on? Well, you have a lot of vegetation. Your hose leaks. You water too much, and it's the perfect condition for ant hives just to move in and dominate. And then if they have ants every month, technically, yes, you're getting rid of them every month, but now you could easily have the client picture it like for pest control of, wow, he got rid of it and it's been gotten rid of because I cleaned up my yard, or I don't water as much.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is where, we have to be careful on how we tell people.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing is not being blunt, not being rude.
Yeah.
Being friendly on how to educate. Springtail's a big one. It's educating the customer on, hey, look, are you watering every day?
Yeah.
You probably don't need to water every day for one. And two, that is going to help reduce, earwigs, springtail, all the bugs. you know, because there's not as much water or moisture on the property. But it's just being friendly about it and how to, you know.
Yeah. Well, so here's an example of how I friendly educated a client before. They have wasps always in their yard, and there's not a single wasp nest around their home, not in the eaves, not anywhere. And they always have a ton of wasps in their yard. And I wish I could just go ahead and spray their yard and fix the issue, but unfortunately that's not going to do it.
No.
It might kill a couple of wasps here or there, but that, you know, product's going to seep into the soil, and the wasps are just going to keep coming back for the water. And if you're watering every day, and I get it, hey, you got a beautiful front yard, it's beautiful, but also I can't take a step without almost stepping into a wasp, because you're the water source for every wasp nest in the neighborhood. So unfortunately, you can't walk up to a client and say, dude, you got to water less, okay? That's going to fix your issue. No, you got to talk to them. You know, like I said, they're, you know, like you're friendly or something. And, well, you are, hopefully, not like doing an act, but you let them know, well, wasps love water, and you let them know wasps need a water source. It cools them down during the day so they could keep operating. They could keep, you know, sustaining the hive. Unfortunately, you're watering a little too much, and what's happening is all these wasps are coming there.
Yeah.
To your home and to your yard. Yeah,
I actually told the guy today another way to be able to say it, and it was, I didn't even assume, you know, I just assumed he was watering too. Actually, I didn't even tell him he was watering too much. I just said it.
Yeah.
I said, most people, because we're not in a drought anymore, water their lawn every day.
Yeah.
I said, but we don't need that.
And did he raise his hand? He's like, oh.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he did. He said, that's smart. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I do water every day. So, but I just told him, because he asked me about springtail. I said, yeah, we have a few methods that we can do depending on where they're coming from and things like that. I said, but a main one is moisture.
Yeah.
You have to water less. And right now, a lot of people, because we're not in a drought, they're watering every single day. I said, but that's too much. You don't need to water every single day. And that's the reason why you're getting so many bugs. And so he kind of was like, oh, yeah, I'm watering every day. I'll have to cut back. And plus, they save money anyway because they're watering less.
Right. And then I know there's some people out there that might be like, well, then if you're going to have the client do everything, why does he even need you? Well, the main part is he's still going to see insects even if he waters less.
Yeah.
Right. He's just going to see less, and that gives us higher chances of having him see way less to where he's not going to have pests. He's just going to have the occasional insect.
Yeah. Well, actually, real quick, I want to say a story on that. Okay. So there's a little story that I've heard. I don't know even who wrote it or what, but it goes.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So it goes essentially as there's a warehouse, their production line just stops working.
Yeah.
And so they call up a mechanic, and the guy comes in. He goes to the part of the machine. He pulls something out. He was there for 15 minutes and leaves. The machine starts working again. And then he sends a bill, and the bill was for $1,000.
Right.
And he was there for 15 minutes. And the guy who gets the bill, he gets all pissed off because he's like, dude, you were here for 15 minutes. Why are you charging me so much? And he said, well, $999 was, for my knowledge, and the dollar was for me pulling out the piece of metal that was stuck.
Yeah.
So, in all reality, we're there because we're knowledgeable. So, why are we there?
I don't think that'll work in our case though.
But it does, because
kinda, but
I was telling a lady today about the rats. I was explaining rodents and a bunch of different things. And she was just going to start plugging up holes around her house.
Yeah.
Well, she would have just trapped them inside her house. And then she would have had a bigger issue because now the rats can't get out of these holes.
Right.
And she would have just had them inside her home now because now they're forced to be inside, or they're forced to go up to the attic, depending on the type of rat that she has. And so now they're just going to make the whole situation worse.
Yeah.
And she could have, and this is the other part. She had not only had rats, she had German cockroaches, and she was setting off bombs. She was self-treating.
Did she almost have the trifecta bed bugs too?
Oh yeah, almost.
Jeez.
But she's been spending so much money on different products.
Yeah.
It would have been cheaper to call us in the first place.
Well, kinda.
But it's true. I've even done it. I've tried to work on my own vehicle, and I don't know what I'm doing.
No, I get that part. I'm not arguing that. But what I'm saying is your analogy, your story with no citable source or anything like that. It doesn't work because we do actually come out of pocket a lot from products and gas money.
No. But I'm saying the whole point of it is the knowledge.
You're paying for knowledge.
We're the knowledgeable ones.
And that's why your uniform is so important, and you looking professional is so important, because they're paying for a professional who's licensed in this stuff to come out to your home and treat. And I get why educating them is a gray area, because it's like, what the heck? I'm paying you all this money, and you're coming out here, and now you're telling me it's my fault that I have bugs.
And but it is.
Yeah, true.
It is their fault.
But you don't say it that way though.
No.
Don't say it that
Absolutely
way. This podcast is an educational one. We're gonna we're gonna teach how to not say that. And I almost slammed the table, but I didn't.
Good.
Yeah. But
bad.
I'm gonna get fired up in here.
No, but the importance of being, well, first of all, you need to be educated. So when we're talking about pests or what pests they're seeing, on their property, you need to know what to tell them and how to help, because it is a team effort. Yes, we have the chemicals. Yes, we have the knowledge. We can only go so far.
I know, yeah.
And then it's almost out of our hands. There's nothing we can do unless we're going to go and clean up their house, unless we're going to start taking things off of the property that is allowing insects and rodents to be on that property. So depending on the pest, you have to be educated on that specific pest. You have to know what to say to those clients.
Yeah.
And to help them. And I always tell them, and this is, I think, one way to be friendly and bring it up politely is, it's a team effort.
It is.
I need your help so I can do my job correctly.
I never ever say it to them. I never say you're going to be a part of the solution. I talk to them and I word it in the way of they feel like they are. Yeah. We had a huge thing about glue boards, a podcast episode about glue boards and how they feel like they're part of the solution. But to me, man, it's like if you make the client feel like they have power in the situation, then it's easier to educate them. As opposed to if you have all the power and you're always like, I'll do it, stay inside, I'll do it, get inside, I'm going to do everything. Mm-hmm. Then when you do need to educate them, then it's like, well, hold on, you're the guy that gets it all done for me, now why are you asking me to do stuff? If you're upfront with your client and you say, hey, set these glue boards up in your house to help against the spiders, or you set up ant bait stations and you say just replace it once it's emptied and it lasts X amount of time, then the client now feels more a part of the solution. And then when you have to educate them about, well, you have so much vegetation on this side of the house, that's why you're seeing so many spiders, then it's more of, oh, okay, that makes sense. Then I do need to cut that back, or, it turns into, well, okay, I'm paying you to get rid of spiders, but I do get why I'm seeing some still is because of certain things around my house.
Yeah, and the other thing is don't be afraid to agree with them if they say something like, oh, I have a bunch of clutter, in the backyard. I need to get rid of it. I know that's why they're bringing bugs, or I know that's why bugs are there. Because I know a lot of technicians trying to be nice, they'll say, no, don't worry about it. You're fine. That's okay. But we need to say, yes, right. You know what?
But real quick, even you could say that the first time.
Yeah.
And hey, if you get the results, then you avoid the situation entirely.
Yeah.
But if they have 2 callbacks, then at the first one, I'd say, then you have to bring it up. Hey, I'm going to get it done. And always assure them, because here's the last, make sure you tell them before you ever try to educate a client, even if you're going to be there just to spray the outside, tell them, I'm going to get this spray done for you, or I'm going to still treat the outside. But hey, here's this. Because if you start trying to educate them, then they might be like, well, he just doesn't want to do the job, or he doesn't want to do this, or
you're right.
So make sure when you show up to someone's house and you need to educate them, like say it's for like ants, and you let them know, well, hey, it takes a long time sometimes to get rid of ants. I'm still going to spray today. Don't worry. I'm going to make sure we're going to expedite it. But just know that it could take up to 2 weeks to get rid of ants because that's what the product says on the label. Because if I were to go to a client's house, well, it takes 2 weeks for the ants to get rid of the ants. And then the first thing clients can think, oh, he doesn't want to spray, or he doesn't want to take care of the house, or he wants to leave. Don't do that. Don't dig yourself into a hole that quickly.
Yeah.
Go ahead and get started. Maybe tell them mid-treatment or something, or right after treatment. educate them after you've already done all the hard work and you're working up a little sweat. So it's all about, and I'm not going to say it's like psychological warfare because that's terrible, but it kind of is.
No, it's how to bring it up and when to bring it up, because if you are going to go spray or you are treating an area and you know that it's not going to go away right away because the chemical is not meant to do that, it's not all PT 565 where it just kills them all super fast, but it does take a little bit, if you guys remember, or at least in California, when you take the branch 2 test, you have to learn about the LD50. And it's all based off of, there's a lot of different ones, but it's all based off of weight and size. The chemical is all based off of how big the insect is and how fast it's going to kill it.
Yeah.
And the kill ratio. And so we have to remember on the bigger insects, it's not going to kill them super fast. You're not going to kill them right away. It's not going to be they walk across it and they instantly die. That's not how that works.
Yeah, and that's all education too. A big thing I tell clients is, because I think I mentioned it in a previous podcast, or maybe a future podcast, I don't know, that sometimes clients are new completely to the industry. And maybe after their first initial service, then they're like, well, I still kind of see them. What I've noticed, and it's worked a lot of times, is, hey, after, once you keep getting these services done regularly, you notice less and less each time until they're not even an issue anymore. And it's not that one spray is going to cure all. It's going to take a while. And that's why pest control thrives off of being bi-monthly or quarterly.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is you have to educate them on its pest control.
Yeah.
We're controlling the pest. That's it.
Yeah. Not many people have exterminator in their name anymore.
No, unless, and actually
they're just focused on exterminating bed bugs or something.
Yeah, well, there's some bugs that you can actually 100% eliminate.
Yeah, like bed bugs, cockroaches, things like that.
Ants, they'll come back, but at least you can eliminate them in that time frame before they come back. But yeah, you just need to let them know. And I've been educating a ton of people, because we're going to be talking about this. Is the roaches in California?
Yeah.
But I educate them on, letting them know, look, I am going to control the pests. I'm going to spray. I'm going to treat. I'm going to do everything I can and in my power to, drop the population and control them as best as possible.
Right.
But you may see one or two still dead.
Yeah.
You may see one come up, but
definitely.
That's just because of, how big they are.
I treated a client today, and I remember I treated their garage and the outside for the Turkestan cockroaches. And I asked them, so how does it look? Because I know I at least didn't do a callback, but I did their initial service, and now I'm back with their 30-day follow-up. And I asked, how's everything looking? And she's like, well, there's a lot of dead ones.
Perfect.
Like, yeah. And then later I was like, well, and then sometimes one or two don't die. And I'm like, well, that's why we keep coming out. We keep getting a barrier so you could keep seeing dead ones. And we can make sure we're on top of it until eventually you're not going to have noticed the issue anymore.
Yeah.
And then if you got clients that are having callbacks because they're seeing dead ones, then that's when you really have to drop the hammer of education. I can't control where they die, but this is just proof that it's working.
Yeah.
Because I know, and I've seen it, and I forgot to get signed up, but there's a subreddit on Reddit. I don't know if you guys know what Reddit is, but Reddit's an app, and there's a very tiny community of pest technicians in Reddit. And I've noticed some posts about having clients do callbacks for dead insects, and that's a big one too. And that's probably why people shun away from using glue boards, is because, well, you don't want your client to see the insects. It's all about just educating your client.
Well, that's the lack of education.
Yeah.
So if technicians are going back and they're spraying because there's dead insects, it's because they didn't educate the very first time. Because I let people know, because we've been doing a ton of initials.
Yeah.
Where it's, look, you may see an increase because I'm flushing them out of their, hiding spots.
Yep.
And you're going to see a bunch of dead ones. You're going to see more than before because they are out and moving. They are running around. Like today, I was spraying a lawn and there was spiders literally running everywhere.
Oh, dude. Same thing with me yesterday. I was spraying like the edge of a lawn. And dude, every like couple inches, I'd see a spider come running up onto the cement.
Yeah.
Where I was spraying. Yeah.
Those spiders are dead.
Yeah,
they're going to be dead.
But it's crazy how many spiders are in the lawn. Like,
oh, yeah, it's nuts.
And this California weather is just perfect.
Oh, I was walking through the lawn, and they were just running everywhere.
And to put it in perspective for people listening, California had more rain in the spring than winter. So guess how that's going for us right now, man. We're having so many cockroaches, so many spiders. Like, I went to a house and I think I sprayed one web up in some guy's awning, and probably like 10 spiders per corner came drooping down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is just so terrible.
Yeah.
And the main thing is, and then people are telling me, oh, it's ridiculous, there's so many spiders. What I say is, it's that time of year.
Yeah. Well,
and they're happy with the answer. You know, I don't have to, it's not that my product's not working or the service isn't working. It's that time of year. This is the year that things get crazy.
Yeah.
This is where we have to earn your trust.
Well, and education, educating the customer doesn't start or stop at the tech. It needs to be company wide. So that same answer you say, which is great, the girl in the office says the same thing.
Yeah.
So when customers call and they say, I'm getting roaches, I'm getting spiders, I'm getting all this stuff.
It's that time of year.
It's that time of year. And she even tells them, oh, you're not the only one.
And if there is a lady in the office, tell her, yes, it is. Make sure she says it in a deep voice too. It's that time of year.
It's that time of year.
No, and let them know. And this isn't lying at all. Let your office know to say this. Everyone's seeing it. We're getting so many calls. Be a little transparent. You know, just let them know. Trust me, I know we're getting so many calls. You're not the only one.
Yep.
The last thing you want to do is make someone feel, well, not really, but you don't want them to feel so unique that they think there's something wrong with their house.
No,
because then that's when they start thinking, oh man, maybe I have to get someone different, a different company to take. No, let them know everyone's seeing it. Trust me. Oh, were you Natomas or whatever? Oh yeah, Sacramento. Yeah, everyone's having that issue. I like how I threw in a city no one knows.
Yeah, I know. Right?
That's why I had to say Sacramento.
Google it.
Yeah, Natomas is it's like a city in Sacramento, by the way. Is it even considered a city? Probably not. Anyways, why are we even talking about this? We're talking about education to clients.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's just educating everyone. It's just. And I know it's a gray area, and trust me, maybe every 1 out of 50 clients, you're like, what am I paying you for? Well, hey, you can't win them all.
Well, and most people understand because we can't control some of the things, that go on the property. And it's just explaining it to them that way.
Yeah.
We can do everything that I can do. I'm trying. I said, but if you can help, it's going to help out a lot if you cut back on the water, so it's not like you're putting everything on them. And if there is that client that's like, well, what's like, why, it's just going back. Even there was a guy today I talked to, he signed up, but he went and bought all these products. He sprayed his entire lawn. There's a product. I didn't even know what the chemical was in it. I've never even heard of it before. But he ended up asking me like, well, do I need to like spray it right now? I'm like, well, where did you spray? Because where I spray is probably going to be different than you.
Yeah.
And that's where that education started coming in, and he started handing me all these products, and I'm reading the labels, and I'm seeing the chemicals.
Yeah.
And that's the time is where this guy, I built up a good trust with him to where he's like, okay, yeah, I'll have you come out and spray, and we'll do it in a week.
Yeah.
And he just literally just sprayed everything.
Oh, okay.
And so, so it's that education that helps. And it's not always just to prevent callbacks. It's not always just to cover, your guys' asses on whether, whether they get mad or not. But
right. It's just being transparent. Because if you're transparent and you're educating them and you're also helping them with their issue, if they're seeing 10 cockroaches a night and you show up and now they're only seeing 2, well, 90% of the time that client's going to be happy. They're like, oh, there's so much less.
Well, on whatever you say to them. Yeah. That's where guys are like, yeah, you'll never see anything again.
Yeah. Then if they're seeing 2, then it's like, well, I thought you said this.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you've dug yourself a hole. Yeah. And then when you have to go educate them, then it becomes impossible.
Yeah.
Because when I signed it up, they said everything's going to be taken care of.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just, it's a very tricky thing in the industry, but it's mandatory.
Yeah,
just something that you need to do.
Yeah, just guys need to remember, don't become, that extreme guy where it's like you said something and it didn't work, and so now you're not going to say anything. Yeah. You need to learn how to educate them. You need to go and, educate yourself and learn those things, because there's stuff I was telling clients a year ago that's wrong. It wasn't correct.
Right.
And so now I'm learning new things, and now because I got to re-educate them.
Yeah. Not because you're an idiot.
No. Well, and I could have been at the time because I didn't do I didn't study it. I didn't look it up. I didn't go in and try to figure it out. Yeah. But that's the thing is we have to be on the ball. We have to learn that stuff or you can't.
Yeah. The industry's always changing, and if someone you signed up, the way you pitched them and the way you built their trust last year, it's probably going to change the next year. So, that's why this industry is so awesome. But, and remember, I don't know if we ever do a podcast about like applicators and like why we shouldn't pay people the bare minimum, or
I don't remember.
I don't remember. We've done so many podcasts. This sucks.
Maybe.
But that's also another reason why I hate companies that just pay people the bare minimum to show up and go through the motions. Because no, you're supposed to build the trust. You're supposed to educate a client. Because what happens is when people go out there and they don't educate, and then the client ends up canceling that company because it's like, well, I had them here, and they're saying that they guarantee cockroaches, and I'm still seeing them, and not once were they ever educated. Then now it makes it harder for everyone else. Because that company neglected to train their tech or to train their office to educate clients. And so we could all be in this, crazy environment of California better. And every state, everywhere, and all over the world, they all have issues with pests. I don't care where you are. You're going to have outdoor cockroaches. You're going to have indoor cockroaches. And you're going to have bed bugs. And if you're not educating your clients, then you're just going to make it harder for the industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to be on that. But, I mean, it's just that, once again, I'm going to say it. They got to pay me. They're going to start to pay me one of these days.
What?
They have to. Pest World.
Oh, Pest World.
Go to Pest World, guys.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, it's in Tennessee. It's great. Go to Pest World and check it out. The stuff that you learn there, that's actually that's one of the places that I learned a ton of stuff that I was wrong in.
Yeah, and you're not even sponsored. And it's just because you're just doing from word to mouth.
Word to mouth?
Sorry. No, I'm like multitasking because people don't see what I'm doing.
Word of mouth?
My darn headphones tangled up.
Yeah. Well, no, but seriously though, like go check it out because that is how you educate. Because I mean, even like bed bug treatments, cockroach treatments, we're walking into places and now I can tell them something completely different than what I would have told them before.
Yeah.
But that's just how it is you have to constantly educate yourself.
100%. So. Yeah. No, I agree. And I can't wait to go to Pest World because that's when the Pest Technician Olympics is going to take place.
Oh gosh, go back and listen to it.
Go listen to it, and we're going to have the Olympics at Pest World. So
yeah, so guys, just remember when you're educating your clients, be friendly, bring it up in a polite way. Do not put the focus on them. Do not say it's all their fault. Bring it up as a team effort that we're doing this together. But also be educated on the insect that you're educating them on and know what you're talking about. Because if you go there, you say one thing and a text says another text says another thing, you're both going to look like idiots at that point.
Yep.
So make sure you guys know what you're talking about. Make sure your team's on the same page with the insects that you guys are treating for. But just make sure you're polite. Make sure you're friendly.
Yep. All right. Thanks for listening. Hey guys, this is Anthony, and here's a quick reminder. We want to hear from you, whether you're a technician, owner, or operator. We want to hear your stories, whether it's a horror story on the field, a funny story with the client, or just something straight up crazy or weird you've seen. And how can you do this, you ask? Well, our email is dnapestpodcast@gmail.com. That's DANDA pestpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow us at Twitter and direct message us there at DNA Pest Podcast. That is D, the letter N, A, Pest Podcast. Follow us on Twitter. Or you can reach out directly through our website at dnapodcast.com. That's DANDA podcast.com. We want to hear from you, so let's hear it.